welcome to episode 5 of Pixel Focus Podcast. I am your host, Sun OG5, and I am joined by my host N7 today, who I promised didn't drag me here. I actually did choose to be here, so
Woo!
don't call the cops or anything. I'm just saying. But anyway, N7, how you doing?
I am doing amazing. How about yourself?
I'm good. I think we did talk about earlier. I'm a tad bit on the sleep deprived side, but we're fine. We're fine. We're doing all right. We're gonna be okay.
Mhm.
I hope that you slept well, at least somewhat.
Actually, I did on the couch.
You know, fair, I guess.
It was a very comfy couch.
I wish I had a comfy couch. Anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about what our topic is today. So today we will be covering how virtual photographers are taking strides in getting awareness for virtual photography itself, pushing that art medium forward. I do know that we spoke about the same thing similar last week, which was based on game devs doing so, but how are the actual people in the community starting to push this narrative forward? And I'm going to go ahead and give it to N7 to introduce our guest today.
Yeah. So about 6 months ago, as part of my St. Jude charity drive, I invited Sunoji here today, as well as a friend of his, to take a block to showcase what virtual photography was all about. This in turn spurred the idea of Pixel Focus, which you see today, which is crazy. This friend of Sunoji is Ken. He showcased his amazing skills at landscaping work in Death Stranding, which was amazing as for the audience to see, as well as myself at that time. He's covered other games like Call of Duty, Cyberpunk 2077, and so many more. It would take all the time of this episode to mention all of them. Anyway, there's when he's not taking a breathtaking shot in the game, he's also collecting action figures, ranging from comic books, high-end artistic figures, video game figures, pretty much anything that catches his eye. So, Ken, welcome to the episode. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Happy to be here. And, it's crazy that you mentioned that it's been 6 months since that St. Jude charity stream. It's crazy how time flies.
Yeah. Because I was
Honestly,
looking back, I was like, wow, 6 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does not feel like 6 months. That's pretty wild.
It really doesn't. Honestly, I feel like we were just doing this maybe like a couple months ago, but that was what, during the summer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wow. Wow. Anyway, enough reminiscing. So,
Just a little moment of silence, please.
right,
Okay,
just a little
moving
bit.
on.
So, our topic today. I wanted to go ahead and before we do, just kind of ask Ken. So Ken, my bro, my guy, my dude. First of all, how are you feeling about just virtual photography right now for yourself? How are you feeling about that?
I feel pretty good. We've had a really strong year of games last year, 2023. A lot of awesome releases for games, and fortunately, a lot of games that have included photo modes, which is nice to see. Some surprise hits in that respect. And moving forward with 2024, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Again, games that are introducing photo modes, which is awesome. I myself am extremely excited that Dragon's Dogma 2 has officially announced a photo mode.
Yes.
And for anybody that follows me and has seen what I posted in respect to that, Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to take over my life completely. So I expect a lot of photos from that game. But in general, the same old, kind of been taking a lot of photos in different games. For a while, I was shooting a lot of Alan Wake 2. Taking a little break from that, I kind of went crazy with the Alan Wake 2 photos. So moved on to other games. Like right now, I'm working on shots for Deliver Us to Mars. which is a fantastic indie game for anyone who hasn't played it yet. It's an awesome game. Yep. Of course, I'm still doing some Fortnite photography, or Fortography as it's called.
I didn't even know it had a name.
It has a name. It has a hashtag and everything, bro.
Oh my, bro.
And that is the Solid Snake one you sent me, right?
Yes, it is. Very, very happy that Snake is now in Fortnite. Super, super cool. Very unexpected. But yeah, so been taking photos in that. It's going well, I'd say, VP for me.
That's what's up, but I'm still focused on the fact that you just said there's a name for Fortnite photography. Are you what? Like that's new. Okay. Why do they get a name? Anyway.
Yeah, because when I was getting the files, I was saving onto my computer, it said Fortnite, but then I was like, Solid Snake. Wait, did they have a collaboration? I wasn't sure if it was a type of the file name or something, because it did take me aback a second. I was like, huh, interesting.
In 7, they have a whole name for their photography.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a name. I want a name.
Picnics Unite? Question mark.
Spidography. Ghostography. We need a name. That's not fair.
I think we'll figure out something though.
Eventually, I guess. Okay. Well, we
don't
might not have a name.
Don't sound so depressed.
I'm super depressed now. Anyway, we don't have a name. That's fine, I guess. And I guess that could kind of bring us into our topic. The fact that virtual photographers are doing a lot right now to try and push things forward for just us as a community. At least I believe so. I definitely have seen quite a few folks start to really dig in their heels and think about what we could do in order to push this. In saying that, we have had for a bit now a few different folks who have really been kind of spearheading that we can also talk about being, great virtual photographers themselves. And one of those people that I did want to mention was Shinobi. He has put out a series called Explain That Shot, basically where he brings on guests to, explain their shot. They have a picture that he really saw and was blown away by, and then he brought them on and they just kind of send in an audio file to give a brief explanation for about 2 or so minutes to let everybody know kind of what their thought process was on making that particular photo. We also have a lot of folks who are starting to bring more photographers onto the scene by spreading the word about their names. VGP Network, VPRT, folks like that. But with all that being said, Kinkin, with all of those initiatives, how do you think that's affecting us going forward so far?
Yeah, I think, I even mentioned it myself recently in a post in the beginning of the year. We're starting to see a lot of new photographers on the scene, and a lot of them are kind of coming out of nowhere with a lot of high quality photos.
Yeah,
and I think part of the reason why that is, outside of the tremendous talent that they have, but also I would imagine that a lot of people that are coming onto the scene now have been following a lot of these communities on Twitter, on YouTube, and stuff like that, seeing other virtual photographers explain their shots, guides and tooltips on how to use photo modes and such. So I think, or I would like to think, that a lot of these newer photographers kind of absorbed all that information and finally took the step to share their work. And we're seeing a lot of like I said, high quality photos for people who are just starting out, which is awesome, and people who have also been around for a little while. Their work is starting to improve as well, and I think that plays a big part in it. Shinobi's explained that shot.
Yeah.
All these different guys. The Fourth Focus is another fantastic account that does that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I definitely could agree with you. I definitely believe that it's getting people to want to improve, to try different things. It's definitely bringing a lot of just new ideas to the forefront as to not even just what you can do in taking a shot, but also how you can advertise yourself when it comes to it. A lot of people are starting to kind of see these new ideas and initiatives and start trying things themselves. I mean, I've seen people start entire Discord so that they can bring more people in and have people learn, have people just start photography, have people, go back and forth and just kind of see what one person thinks versus another. There's a lot of cool things that are happening. But yeah, and Seven, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say having your photo displayed on Times Square, I would say is success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, last episode we were talking about let's see, Last of Us doing weekly shots on Mondays, but also they had a competition recently. Yeah, just I think it's definitely it was not as popular back when, but now people are getting to notice, and I think it's doing well enough to be displayed on Times Square.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that having us ourselves as a community just kind of start our own programs and everything like that, do you think that's really kind of helping us to push forward right now?
Oh, hands down, yeah.
Yep. I would definitely say so too.
Real quick, I just wanted to mention, since you brought it up, N7, with the whole shot being featured on Times Square, I live close to Manhattan. It's very easy for me to commute to, and I had promised the winner of the shot, who had their Lords of the Fallen photo displayed in Times Square, that I would go and physically take a photo of it to show them, so that they could see.
Awesome.
And but the day that I went happened to be some sort of anniversary for like the stock market or something.
Oh no!
And the building that they used to display the shot was the like NASDAQ building. So for that day only, that shot was not there. They were displaying like a video for the anniversary of NASDAQ or whatever. I don't even know. And I waited. It was freezing cold that day, but I had a great day in the city, and I'm like, okay, time to end it off with seeing the photo in Times Square, taking a shot of it, and sending it to the person who won. Right. And gosh darn it, I waited 30 minutes at least.
Oh man.
Just waiting for the stupid video to go away so I could see the shot, and it never happened. And I was yeah.
Well, you know what? Even if you didn't get to take a picture of it, just the fact that you thought to, the fact that you wanted to do that alone, I definitely believe speaks volumes for the community itself. I definitely think that's something where it just shows like we really do try to build each other up when it comes to this. We don't really try to tear each other down. Of course, you always have bad apples, yada yada, blase blase, but I definitely believe this is one of those things where everybody tries to kind of lend a hand to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean, the occasion of freezing out for 30 minutes just to take a picture.
For half an hour for someone you don't even know. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's dedication.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, it just to add on to that, the biggest thing about the VP community that I think is so amazing is that we're all over the world. So that I don't know where that particular person lives. that won that photo, but it was clear that they didn't live close enough to go see it themselves. So
Right.
I just thought it would be a friendly gesture to go and try and take a photo. I figured that the people who arranged for that to happen would take a physical photo of it and send it to the person so that they could see. But still, just being, again, a friendly gesture for someone that I know within the VP community and doing it for them, which is the same as actually the first. I think it was the first, the Red Bull photography VP contest that happened. Similar situation. They showcased physically the works of the winners in specifically in the Chelsea market in New York City, a place that I frequent, fairly often. And I remember, I think it was there for a weekend, so like maybe 2-3 days. And the day that I went, it was pouring raining.
Oh, wow.
But I made the trek. I walked over from Port Authority to the Chelsea market to take photos of it. And it was super cool. The works that they had printed were enormous, so you could get a really good view of the winning shots. They had plaques with the names of the winners and a brief description of their thoughts on the shot and what the shot was from. And it was just so cool to physically go and see, people's shots that they took and submitted and won for this huge contest. And it's a little unfortunate that some people don't get to see their own works physically. But I think, that's something that we can do to kind of uplift each other. If for those of us who can go physically see it and show it for them, we should. And that's been something that I've been trying to do. Again, since I live so close, it's very easy for me. That's what I've been trying to do for each of those contests that happen.
Yeah.
Cynthia Skywalker posted, "We appreciate you trying to get picks for the Red Bull winners."
Yes. No, honestly. I mean, Ken, that truly, that kind of just encapsulates pretty much what this episode is about, just where, VPs are taking the time to really find ways to bring each other up in the community, bring up the entire community. Just seeing how we can go about getting the word out on that. That's pretty awesome. And you definitely did a fantastic job of doing so. Even if you weren't able to get it on the New York one, you still did an awesome job of that. So yeah.
I try.
Yeah. But N7, did you have a specific question? I feel like you had something you wanted to ask.
No, I was just listening in at the current time.
Oh,
yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, then I will go ahead and bring up the next portion, which basically is, I wanted to just go ahead and give a shout out to the people who are actually, I know I spoke on it earlier, but I wanted to give an official shout out to the folks who are on the visual that we have showing right now, which are VGP Network and VPRT. These are two programs that are doing pretty much retweets and different events for the virtual photography community so that everybody can participate, so that everybody kind of has a place to go to commune and do what we all love doing, honestly, which is taking, photos and video games. So, big ups to you guys. And then also TPM, the photo mode. They are the world's first virtual photography e-magazine, who we've actually had the chief and editor, or editor-in-chief, I can never remember how to say it. But I think it's editor-in-chief. But he was on our first episode, I believe.
Yes,
Jack.
That's correct.
Yeah, so
with
Jack or
Violetra as well.
Yeah, and Violetra was also there. She joined the TPM team not too long ago, about maybe a couple months ago or so. So yeah, no, I mean, and actually Cynthia, who just commented earlier, she is also a part of that team. She has been on that team for a while as well. So we do definitely want to give you guys a shout out. And then also Shinobi Space, who started Explain That Shot, and I did, explain that shot. I explained that shot earlier. You guys get what I'm saying. Yeah. So Shinobi, also want to give a huge shout out to you too, because bringing people on to just have that platform to talk about what they did, and something that, really took a lot of people when it comes to their being impressed. It's really awesome that all of you guys are just doing these things to show off our community. So big kudos to you. But with that being said, though, also I did want to go ahead and ask, how do you guys feel about like just magazines and stuff? We have a few. We have, Gamergram, the Capture Collective, TPM. I know there's a couple other that I can't name off the top of my head right now, but how do you guys feel about magazines created by virtual photographers to also help push the narrative of virtual photography becoming an art medium? Kinkin, we'll go ahead and start with you.
Sure. So I think it's a great way to kind of, centralize where everything is. It's a place where everyone can kind of see a more direct and focus. How could I put it? Just like showcasing people's works and talking about VP and showing, the capabilities that we have as photographers, taking shots in video games. And I think, maybe slightly off topic, but I think what's awesome about these magazines and communities, like Gamergram, and such, they do a lot of monthly themes where, each day will be a specific thing. And, it's sort of a quote unquote challenge for people to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for a lot of VP, who are maybe tired from VP, or they're, they don't know what to do. Maybe they're burned out on stuff. It's a good way for them to kind of get back in the game and maybe even try something new. If there's a particular shot that they don't take, whether it's macro photography or action photography,
Right.
A lot of these types of little events every now and again that these magazines host kind of get them back in, and, maybe encourage them to take more photos and get back into it, which is really cool.
Yeah, honestly, I definitely would agree on that. I definitely think that it's cool that they do the monthly themes too, just because those themes do actually get I think some of them do get an issue sometimes, depending on what group it is, whether it be TPM or whoever, right? And I think that's really cool too, because I mean, not only do these magazines end up having that happen, but a lot of times I've seen where game devs will start to notice them too. They'll even get involved sometimes. So it's really cool to see that it isn't just something community wise that's being seen. It's something where folks outside of it, or the people who created the games themselves, are starting to see it. So that's awesome. And in Seven, how do you think that these magazines are helping for virtual photography to kind of get more awareness?
I think it's a great way of showing a portfolio for you as a VPer, because as we mentioned in the last episode, where some VP creators were getting asked by I forgot what the game dev top of my head who did Deliver Us the Moon, right?
Wired Productions.
Wired Productions, yeah. They reached out, and if future game devs are like, hey, can I see some of your work, you can give them the magazine and say, I've been on this magazine, so it gives you more credibility and all that. So I think it works. Also, we do have a question which ties in perfectly with this.
Sweet.
Is the goal in raising awareness for VP so that more people know about it, practice it, or even have more people respect/appreciate it?
Who wants to answer?
We could both
all
answer.
We're all here. We're the old gang's here.
Ken,
But,
how about you start?
Yeah, Ken, go ahead.
I'm very sorry. Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, all good.
Sure.
So, is the goal in raising awareness for VP so that more people know about it, practice it, or have more people respect/appreciate it?
So I think the obvious answer is all of the above, right? It's you know, everything that we do as a community is, accomplishes all of that. We kind of showcase again, what we're capable of as photographers in video games. And like let's say a new game comes out, right, and it has a photo mode, and that photo mode is maybe a little quirky or is different from other photo modes that we haven't seen before. We as a community will kind of talk about that, right? What's weird about it, what's good, what's bad, and kind of give tips and tricks on how to make the best of it. So that's just one example of how we kind of showcase that for new photographers who are maybe thinking about getting a game and being like, oh, is the photo mode good? I only want to get that game to take photos if the photo mode is good. And being able to show people that ahead of time may inspire them to get the game and take photos in that game. But also to raising awareness. The fact that so many games are now including photo modes into the game, I think speaks volumes for how much awareness the community has made for virtual photography, right? Like,
yeah,
and even even games that already had them, they're the newer games are improving upon them, which is awesome. And I think we've even seen recently some people from studios, ask the VP community, hey, how can we improve the photo mode? What can we add to it? What can we change? So they're actively coming to us to see how it can be better,
right.
For us, right? Because ultimately the photo mode is for people who want to take pictures in the game. So the fact that they're putting such an emphasis on it and a desire to improve their photo modes, I think says a lot about how much the VP community has become a part of this whole thing, right? Between the game devs and everything. So yeah, the goal of it is all of the above, right? It's to spread awareness. It's to help new VP and old VP alike, improve upon their work and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely go ahead and agree as well. I truly believe that it is all of the above for sure. It definitely is a case where we are doing these things just so that, of course, the awareness goes up, so that people will actually try VP themselves, even those who haven't even touched it. And I'm so sorry. It really has, I believe, affected even people who don't play video games, because I've seen where some people start playing games just so that they can start taking photos, like no other reason at all. I mean, they saw people take really cool shots, and they're like, oh, wait a second, you can do that in the game? And it's like, yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, now you have folks who would have never even touched a video game getting into gaming purely off the fact that they wanted to take a shot like somebody they saw, which is, it's kind of mind-boggling to me. I'm not gonna lie. It just where they want to start a whole new hobby purely because of something that somebody else decided one day to try and start themselves. Like that is so cool. So it's definitely to get the word out there for its legitimacy, because unfortunately not everybody believes that virtual photography is a accepted art medium. Unfortunately, again, you will have discussions sometimes with people who, if you even mention the term virtual photography, they scoff at it. it's a laughable thing. And I'm not gonna preach too much on that part, but it's definitely something where we want it to be just as accepted as almost anything else. So yes, having both just awareness of virtual photographers getting out there in general, but also its legitimacy, all of those things that you just mentioned in that question, those are all things that we want for virtual photography to get pushed forward.
Mhm. Yep. So Cynthia Skywalker posted, "I love the Valkyrie shots." So for those who are listening, usually I like to display a little showcase of our guests' work, and one of them is a pretty cool Valkyrie shot, and so Cynthia was commenting on that. Also, we got a comment from
Cynthia.
Also, we got a comment from Uko. So we're going back to the magazine comment, but also tying back into what we were talking about earlier. "I enjoy reading the works VPs have to say about themselves and their shots in the e-magazines, learning more about the individual and their shots in a way I might never have been able to before." So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely is a really cool thing where you can almost connect to a person because of that. I mean, I think it was not too long ago, TPM, the photo mode, they actually were reaching out to people, kind of doing an explain that shot situation that Shinobi was doing, right? Except you would read it. So they would make a post for that person and put the shot up and then put their quote that they asked them to give. And I mean, there's been, it's not just TPM who has done that. There's been a few people who have done that, VPRT, some of the people that we've already mentioned. But just in talking with, what Uko was mentioning, that is really something cool that you can just connect with somebody. You can see what was either in their mind or even in their heart when they were taking that shot, because this isn't something that people just do just because. This is honestly something that some people do because it helps them to cope sometimes, or it helps them to express something that they couldn't express in words, or something that they couldn't express in other forms of mediums. So it's really cool to see that people have that option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think the one main thing for me is the community is the big focus for me, is why I enjoy. Even though I've only dabbled a little bit, it was fun seeing on our Discord server people just going, "Oh, these shots," and then like a good example is Rudix. Shout out to you. You're listening in chat right now. You're working, but it's fun seeing his first picture because he saw the Ken's and Sons panel for the St. Jude, and he was like, "Oh, I can actually do that." And so he posted a picture, and it was a starting picture. It was a good like good angle and all that. But now he has gone off the rails in his pictures. It's fun seeing, like, I've actually downloaded his first picture because then I can see his progression, and it's just like wow. But it's because of the community. Is able to help him, and he's actually gotten one-on-one consultations with Sun and believe Skates. So he's been actively involved in the community, and so his skills are just improving, and it's just fun seeing that. And even my wife Nash said that she was interested in playing a game because she saw a shot. It's like, all right, yeah, I would definitely play a game just because of that shot. It's just fun seeing how pictures, just a simple picture, can bring people from all walks of life into the community, which is fun.
Ken, how does it feel to know that you're a big old influence, buddy?
I'm blushing. I'm embarrassed.
He said, "I'm flustered."
Oh my goodness, it's getting hot in here.
You gotta take some clothes off. Is it like that, or is it just like,
it's winter, but oh my goodness, this change is crazy. What the heck?
Yeah.
But really though, I mean, it's an honor to hear anybody say that they're influenced by my photography or inspired. And it's awesome to hear that, because obviously it's a good feeling, but that just means that we get to see more photographers, right? We
Yes.
get to see more people, playing games and taking photos from the games, and a lot of the times we see it from a new perspective that nobody has ever taken before, and I think that's awesome.
Oh
So
yeah.
so happy to hear that anybody is looks at my work and is inspired.
Hmm.
That's truly an honor. There are so many awesome people in the community, who are inspirations to us all,
Right.
and that togetherness in the VP community is what we're all about, right?
Hmm.
Sharing our knowledge, being able to inspire each other. I think that's an awesome thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I would definitely love to see just a couple years even down the road, because I really don't believe that it's going to be that long. But just a couple years down the road, just seeing how these things outside of just virtual photography, where we're showcasing people's work, where we're, even this podcast, where we're, talking about just the community itself and what's happening in it. Um, these different avenues where people are taking. I would love to see in a couple years who's doing what when it comes to that, and just to see like how many people just on the few things we have at the moment have been inspired to maybe push that kind of thing themselves. That's going to be awesome.
Hmm.
Hmm.
We're definitely pioneers in that regard right now.
Pioneers. Pioneer. Nah, the thing we pioneered is Thick Necks Unite. That's what we did. Yeah, y'all can't take that. That's us. Better know. Retro, you get a part in that too. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, man. I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see what everybody's got coming up. It's
Mhm.
definitely truly been so awesome just to see everybody doing what they have so far. Um, and I truly believe that it's only honestly it's only up from here. I don't see this going anywhere but
Mhm.
it kind of can't, because we don't have really anywhere else to go. So we're kind of stuck going up, which I'm okay with. I don't know if y'all are okay with that.
Mhm. Well, speaking of community, do you know, Kinken or Sun, do you know any like competitions that community is hosting that people can get involved in? Do you know that's coming up in the next week or so?
Next week?
Or just, but
Um,
maybe month or so, but just so people can know, because a lot, I think it was our
Mhm.
third episode. People didn't
Yeah.
know a competition even existed. It was even our guest was like, "Wait, I didn't know that existed." So I
Yeah,
figured let's
yeah,
give
yeah.
some insight
Sure,
into,
sure, sure.
is there any competitions coming up in the next month or so that people can be aware of?
Ken, you got one, or I'll go ahead if you
oh,
don't.
well, I was going to mention it's not so much a competition,
Yeah, sure.
but I know Captured Collective recently discussed their virtual geographic
Hmm.
thing that they got going on for Manhattan,
Yeah.
which is a really cool, comparison between. Um, I think they are prioritizing Spider-Man,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It is a game that pretty accurately portrays New York City.
Right.
Um, and before we only had Manhattan. Now we have so much more of New York, which is awesome. So that's something that's going on. Again, that's with the Captured Collective. Um, but as far as competitions go, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Well, I got some things I can talk about real quickly.
Go for
So I do know I oh jeez, I'm pretty sure it's VGP. Let me double check.
it.
But I'm pretty sure it's VGP Network who has a couple of monthly things that are coming up pretty soon here. I'm gonna double check that for you. But while I'm checking on that, actually, you know what? I don't even have to say anything while I'm checking on that. I see it. So this February, VGP Network actually does have the VGP Wednesdays February theme. It's called Be Inspired. So basically, they have sub themes that are where you know, go ahead and put in your work. And they are on the 7th, the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. So that's pretty much each week. And then those themes in order are photos. So what you being inspired by photos, being inspired by people, being inspired by themes, or being inspired by music. So basically, if you have a shot where it was inspired by one of these things during that week, you can go ahead and submit that, and then have, I believe, a chance on actually getting covered in one of their little showcases. So it's pretty cool. Not little necessarily, but still pretty cool that that they're doing that. You got another thing that I'm about to bring back pretty soon here. So your boy Sun OG 5 does host FNSC, which is Friendly Neighborhood Showcase. Basically, it's a video showcase of Spider-Man. So if you are, planning on taking photography in Spider-Man, you can submit it when I go ahead and post it up. You can catch that on my actual which is SunOG5. But I will be basically looking during the time that the time frame that I set up, which all those details will be on my page. But I will be looking for Spider-Man photos, putting them all together in a video, and then putting them out there. And it's not that you were guaranteed a spot, so it's kind of a competition. But there are going to be 10 photos selected, and the final photo is a possible chance of what I call the OG stamp of approval. Basically a shot that absolutely blew my mind. So if you want to join up on that, when I go ahead and start it, probably will be not this week, but the week following, then, hey, look out.
Yep. So for those watching live on YouTube, check the description down below. There is KenKen's socials as well as SunOG's socials. So definitely give him a follow, both of them, and just be mindful of those tweets out on those quote unquote competitions.
And Kevin, you better put yours down there too. They need to be following you and checking you out too.
I don't do VP, but I do appreciate it.
Care. Put it in.
But yeah, definitely do that. So we're going to be transitioning into a little small Q&A session. So there's been a few questions that have been piling up, which is fun. But I'm going to do my typical question for any of our guests. What, KenKen, when you start shots, what is the top three or first or top three things that you do first?
Well, the first thing I do is turn on the PlayStation, right? Because I can't play a game without the PlayStation. Then I select the game, and then I play the game. No. That's a good question. And I spoke about this when I was being interviewed by Dave, the wonderful Dave from DPM. A lot of my shots are kind of impromptu. There's not a whole lot of planning that goes into it with my shots. But if I do if I do think of something preemptively before I start playing, I'll think of a location specifically, because I do mostly or a lot of environmental shots. I'll think of a place in a game and how I want to photograph it. If I want to include any certain subjects in it, or if I want to do just specifically the environment. And then, I kind of just take it from there. I'll explore different angles and, different lighting situations. I think a lot of the thought process that goes into my work is more on the editing side. The color grading, the mood that I want to give off in the photo. A lot goes into that, because honestly, a lot of the times what ends up happening is I'll take a photo that I really like in the game, and from there I'll in Lightroom I'll kind of change it up and make it a little bit more fine tuned to what I envision the photo to be. Um, so yeah, I guess in steps, if we're to call them, it's kind of thinking about what I want to take, taking the shot, and then really just editing it in Lightroom.
Nice.
Facts.
All right, we got another question. This is specifically for Kinkin. What games are you looking forward to in 2024?
Dragon's Dogma 2, baby. Let's go. March 22nd. Can't wait. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm just stupidly excited for Dragon's Dogma 2. I think Dragon's Dogma 1 I think Dragon's Dogma 1 is one of the best action RPGs ever made. I consider it one of my top 3 games of all time. So finally being able to play the sequel after so many years of waiting is a tremendous feeling, and the fact that it's getting what seems like a proper photo mode, because anybody who's played Dragon's Dogma 1 knows that game has a photo mode, and my goodness, calling it a photo mode is doing a disservice to real photo modes. That game, but yes, no. Based on a screenshot that we've seen recently, it looks like they've made a proper photo mode this time around.
Okay.
So that has me super duper excited.
Very cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah, because that was my next question is, do you know if there was going to be a photo mode? But you already answered that, so perfect.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question here. So there's 2 parts to this. And Sun, you can jump into this one as well. What is the bare minimum you recommend to start VP?
The bare minimum. Ooh. Yeah, that's a question. So I would say you want your hands, you probably want eyes as well. I mean, you could do it with your feet, I guess. No, no. So
that would be the bare minimum.
Right. A buff neck, okay, thick neck. That's another thing. And but yeah, no. So I would say you definitely want a console. I do believe, so PS4 does have a lot of games that have, like photo modes and everything like that. So either a last gen console, that's like I said, that's about bare minimum. A PC, I don't really want to get too far into the specs on it, but most PCs can run a photo mode, but I wouldn't push it. Especially if it's a high, fidelity game, I wouldn't push it. But yeah, and then also just a game that has a photo mode. So pretty much, last gen console or kind of lower end PC with a game that has a photo mode, and probably either a controller, mouse, and keyboard. And a little bit of imagination, sprinkle that in.
Just a little bit, not too much.
Just a little bit, not too much. If you have too much imagination, you're gonna start taking weird shots, and we don't want. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, if I may add to that, definitely bare minimum. I mean, it sounds like this person is just getting into virtual photography for the first time. So my advice to you would be figure out what games you want to take photos in.
Yeah, that's
and seeing if that has a native photo mode, because if it doesn't, that doesn't make it impossible to do VP, right? We've seen some incredible shots from people who have taken photos in games from games that don't have photo modes. It's still possible with the if you're passionate about it and you really want to try, you can still do it. We've seen that with games like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Stray. I think are prime examples of games that don't have photo modes, but we've still seen incredible photos from those games. But definitely,
Oh, I just
Mhm.
want to say, just to interject on that real quick, just to pop in for just a second.
Sure.
Also, when you were saying that we have, games where shots are taken without photo modes, yes, that's also true. A lot of people have actually turned off the HUD, and then like for the game, and then you can just screenshot.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
Exactly. But while I think that is a great idea, if you are just getting into virtual photography and maybe there's a lot of things you don't understand about it, or you're not sure if it's for you, I would say maybe shoot with a game that has a photo mode first,
yeah,
because if you try to take shots in games that don't have one, it may frustrate you and turn you off from virtual photography, which we
right.
don't want happening. So maybe look into games that have a dedicated photo mode. That just makes it super easy for you to kind of get into it. There are also the alternative being third party tools on PC. Again, as Sun mentioned, you're probably going to want to hire an PC. Um, to take higher resolution or just increase the textures and the overall quality of the photo. Um, it's still doable. It's still fine. People are still able to take photos on lower end PCs and make them look amazing, based on their creativity. Maybe you're really good at editing. Maybe you can make a not so great photo look fantastic through editing. That's always an option. But I would say, again, at a bare minimum, like Sun mentioned, last gen console, um, look for games that have photo mode specifically, and kind of just take it from there.
Mhm.
Yep.
Very cool.
Use your hands and eyes and your neck.
And hands and eyes and a buff neck. Because if you're taking vertical shots and you're moving that camera 90 degrees, oh boy, your neck is going to get real short. It ain't buff.
You
So
gonna need a buff neck.
you're going to need a buff neck, thick neck.
All right. Due to time, we'll have to end the Q&A there. We do have an important announcement that I've been wanting and waiting to get a perfect time for this, but I already did a tweet out, and we have a YouTube channel that's Pixel Focus Podcast. So definitely give that a sub. We'll be eventually, emphasis on eventually, be moving the show over to that channel. So if you can,
100%.
check the description down below. There should be a link to that Pixel Focus Podcast. It's going to be a YouTube channel, and so the live streams will be eventually moved over there. We also are going to be going live on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. So all the episodes that you've listened to so far will again eventually be sent over to there. So anyone who's going to want to listen or share them with people who don't actually want to watch, they can listen. They'll be eventually on Spotify and all those platforms as well. So that's a big fun thing. And there's going to be many more fun things that Sun and I were talking about earlier, but we can't disclose right now. But there's so many fun things coming up down the pipe. So yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. But so yeah, definitely be looking for that. We'll definitely have the Pixel Focus Twitter post when we say it's officially live for the audio versions of these podcasts. So thanks everyone for making this possible. But Ken, do you have any final thoughts before we end this episode?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of reiterate what we spoke about today, there's the VP community is a very welcoming community. There are a lot of people who take a lot of time out of their days every single day to kind of uplift other people and inspire people and guide other people. These podcasts that we're doing and everything, these interviews are a great way to kind of showcase people's work and get the word out there. So yeah, if for anybody who's looking to get into virtual photography or who's been doing it for a really long time, keep at it, enjoy it, and have fun.
Very cool.
Most deaf. Oh, I guess this is the time when I probably should say something too, isn't it?
Probably.
I'm tired. I'm sleepy, dude. No, that's pretty much what I was gonna say. I'm really sleepy. I'm gonna probably go to bed after this. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I love y'all, but bruh, I woke up at like 1 something this morning. So you better know that I love y'all, because I have not gone to sleep since that point. Okay? So just understand when I say all this buff neck uniting, thick necks uniting, all this stuff, just understand I'm doing that because of the fact that I love you guys, and I literally
Aw.
will take all the time out of my day at any point in time to make sure that you guys have an awesome show. I'm not trying to brag, but that's how much I love y'all. So just know.
Yeah. Pre-show, there were times where I was like, yeah, you definitely need sleep, bro.
Yeah, I was crying. I was literally crying.
Well, you want to take us out? Son, you want to wrap it up here?
He fell asleep.
Nice.
Oh, snap. I was muted. Okay, we out here. It's all good. Can y'all hear? Bro, can y'all hear me? Are we here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anyway, this has been Pixel Focus Podcast. All you thick necks, I love y'all. Y'all the best. Thank you for supporting our channel. Thank you, King Kim, for joining us today. You a thick neck too, homie. All right. And all of y'all, you know what, N7, you a thick neck too. You might be a little bit of a little thick neck, but you still a thick neck. So we all thick necks out here. Love y'all. Good night. I mean, good day or something. I'm tired.
Okay. Catch you later. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, take care.